Hi everyone, welcome to this first tutorial on ICT3715. Today we are looking at the local booking system. So in front of me here, I have the requirement for the local booking system. So quickly, we are just going to read through the requirements and try to define the technologies that we are going to use, the database, and of course we are going to draw the data flow diagram and the entity relationship diagram, ERD. So it says to improve the local booking system for Amandla High School, we want to provide you with important information to assist you to understand the current local booking system used by the school. So we are trying to build a local booking system for a school, Amanda High School, according to the first paragraph here. So for the current local booking system, currently parents use Google Form to book lockers for students. This system, while functional, has some limitation, and the school wants to transition to a more efficient, user-friendly system. So here is the reason for the change. So here's the link to the Google form as well. So the reason for the change to provide a simpler, faster way for parents to book lockers to reduce the chances of error or miscommunication, allow parents to easily view lockers, book a preferred locker, and manage their booking. So here's the link to the Google form. So I have it open in my browser here. Here's the Google form. So the name of the school. So basically, they just fill the form by putting the title of the parents. So the ID number of the parents, maybe 89, blah, 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 some ID number, and then the name of the parents. Maybe in this instance, John Doe, and then the email of the parents, of course. So some address, 1, 2, 3. So some phone number. So the student ID number, it has to be 6 digit. The student name, for instance, maybe. So we have grades. The student grades are from grades 8 to 12. So you select any of them. Let's assume we select 11 in this instance. Our email is not valid. Click on next, and then it's going to take you to this form, and then you receive an email with proof of successful giving a locker at our school. Please send a proof of payment by replying to the email that was sent to you by the school. So basically, they are just trying to like accept a payment here after you have made your registration, and then you click on submit. So this is what we have for the system that they are currently using. So we have to create like a web-based application that is going to solve this problem of local booking. So basically, from the little requirement that we have seen there, we can deduce that we are going to have an admins table. There's going to be an admin entity. So the admin is the one that is going to, do the management of the information system. That they want to log into the admin side, view the reports, and generate um, some sort of data according to the students that have paid and those that have not paid and whatnot. So we are going to have the parents as well. So we are going to have the ID number of the parent, the title of the parent, the name, email, address, and password. So we are going to have the student as well. So a parent can have one or many students. So we are going to have a student as well. There's going to be the ID number for the student, the school number, which is the student number, the name, surname, and then the grade. So if there are any other information that we need to keep the the parents or students, we are going to add those as we progress in the development of the system. So it says, what do you need? Please visit the Google form to get familiar with how it works and the information it collects. This gives you a better understanding of the current process and highlights areas that could be improved in your design. So this talks about the transition to a new local booking system. So I would leave you guys to read all this. I've gone through the requirement documents. This section talks about the prescribed requirements for the programming languages and database to be used. So you have the option of using Java, PHP, VB.NET, Python, C Sharp. So in our development, we are going to be making use of the first option, which is Java. So the reason for choosing Java is that Java is a pretty object-oriented programming language. It is built for creating systems as this. You don't need to install some heavy tools in order to get started with Java. It is very easy to get started with Java, and Java works pretty well with MySQL database. So in the database, we are going to be making use of MySQL. So the other programming languages, the other programming languages are also very suitable. For example, PHP. PHP is also very nice. So, but we've done quite a lot of development with PHP in the past. So we are going to be trying Java. So with Java, we can create a truly object-oriented system. So this section talks about the database technology. I've already told you, we are going to be making use of MySQL. There are other options as well. You can use MariaDB, Oracle, or Postgres. So entity relationship diagram. Entity relationship diagram is important for several reasons, especially in the context of designing and developing databases. Here are some common reasons why ERDs are essential: clear visualization of database structures, help in database design, ensure data integrity. So the ERD basically gives us these major three benefits. So with the ERD, we know the type of tables that we are going to have, the columns that are going to be in the tables, and the relationship between the tables. So it helps us to, give us like a mind map about what we are going to do and how we intend to do it. So it also facilitates communication, simplify the development process, aids in troubleshooting and maintenance, facilitates database normalization, obviously, because you know how your tables are connected with the primary keys and the foreign keys, the one to many, the many to many relationship, and what have you. So we have scalability and modification. It helps with documentation. It ensures alignment with business requirements, obviously. So these are some 10 benefits of having an entity relationship. So in this development, we're also going to draw the flow diagram. The flow diagram will help you visualize and streamline your process. Makes it easier to identify potential problems, areas for improvement, and any missing steps before beginning the development phase. It is a critical tool for both planning and communication. So basically, what the flow diagram gives you is how the data is going to is going to flow in the life cycle of the application. Where are things going to start from? How do they end? You understand? And how do all these transitions take place? So it says you are required to design a flow diagram to illustrate the process and logic of the system that you will be developing. The flow diagram will serve as a visual representation of the steps involved in your system and will help in organizing and clarifying your approach. Same thing with what I explained earlier. So basically, it gives you like a clear map about how the application is going to work. So the steps for creating a data flow diagram, DFD: identify and list the key processes or action involved in the system, break this action into smaller manageable tasks if necessary, understand the flow symbols such as the oval, start, end, rectangles for processes, diamond for decision, and arrow to indicate the flow of steps, ensure that the flow is clear and with each action or decision logically connects to the next. Make sure the diagram is easily readable using labels, description, and using appropriate spaces. So these are the steps that you need to consider when drawing a data flow diagram. So in the development of the system, we are also going to look at management information system reports. So basically, some reports to visualize the data to the admins. So we can have different type of reports like a summary report, transactional report, analytical report, exception report. So all this type of reports we can have on our dashboard. Basically, the report helps the admin to visualize what is happening in the business in order to make informed business decisions. So to draw the data flow diagram, we are going to make use of www.draw.io. So I have my diagram created here. So you can also head over to www.draw.io and open a new, so you can just do draw.io in your browser. So in your instance, you are going to create a new diagram. You can say blank diagram here, and then you click on create. You can give it a name, and then you click on save. So in your instance, you might want to save in your device, which is your laptop, of course. Click on, so you click on save. So the first thing you want to draw a gigantic rectangle that is going to have your systems that are communicating and your processes. So you want to have a line. You can get a line from here. So you drag the angle here to here. So the tool is pretty easy to use. All you just need to do, is to just try and get a feel of how things work, and then play play around the tooling. So there is the line there. You can get another vertical line to separate the rectangle into two equal parts. So we have a vertical line like that. So if you want a text, you can also get a text from here. Just drag and drop the text. You can always drag and write. You can also click the text and drag. So you write. So let's assume you want to create a process. In my instance, the first process was apply for booking. So basically we have two players, the parent and the system. So the parent, everything starts from the parent. So the parent is the one to apply for the booking first. So let's get a process here, and then we double click the box to label it, apply for local booking. So to go to the next process, you hover on the rectangle and then you click on the arrow below it here to go to the next process. The next process is going to be a rectangle as well. And then so the next process is enroll student for local booking. So enroll student for local booking. Okay, enroll. So we have that. If you want to go to the side, you can also do this. Let's assume you want a diamond in this instance. You can extend the diamond like that, and so on and so forth, before you are gonna get your diagram in place. So basically there you have it. So let me just quickly explain what this is. So and the other tools, the start that we have here, you can always get that from the mix section. You can see the black dot that indicates the end that I use here. You can also get it here. So all you just need to do is, is to play around the tools. You can always, like, find some tools that you want to use for your flow diagram. So we also have shapes for drawing a flow chart. We also have different notations for drawing ERD diagrams as well. So in the UML section here, this is the start diagram, and then this is the end. You can change the coloring as you wish. In this instance is a red color. You can also change it to black, and yeah, just play around these tools and get this to work. So we have the parents apply for the booking, enroll the students for the local booking. So they choose a local in the system that they are interested in. If the locker is available, they can make the payment. If the locker is not available, the student gets added to the waiting list, because in some instance all the lockers might be booked, whereby there is no locker to accommodate the student. So if they make a payment, if the payment is successful, the student is added to a locker booking. If the payment is not successful, the registration is either cancelled or add students to waiting list. Let me change this to add to waiting list. So if the payment is successful, the student is added to the locker booking, and then the parent is going to receive a registration confirmation, and then the process ends there. So the process can also end here as well, whereby the student is added to the waiting list. So this explains it for the data flow diagram. So we go to the entity relationship diagram. So we are going to have the admins table, the parents table, the students table, the waiting list table, the student locker table, and the locker table. The admins table is going to contain the information about the admins for the application. The students table is going to contain the information about students. The parents table is going to contain the information about students. The parent table, sorry, is going to contain information about parents. One parent can have one or many students. So once one one student one or many students can be in the waiting list. So one student, sorry about that. I just want to drag this. So one student can have only one student local. One student cannot have many locals. One student can only have one local. So it's a one-to-one relationship between student and student local table. So, and then one locker can be in many student locker. One or many locker can be in the waiting list. So it follows that we are going to have all these tables: the parent, student, waiting list, locker, the student locker, and the admins table. So these are the tables that we are going to have in a database, and the attributes that we've written in the entities here are going to be the columns that we are going to have in our database. So in the next tutorial, we are going to be looking at creating the database with all these tables, specifying their relationships, and we are going to also get started with the application development. So to draw the entity relationship diagram, I've already showed you most of these tools. So let me just go to my new page here. So in the pages here, I'm going to click on, this is page 1. So to create a new page to add a document, you can click on the plus sign in the bottom left corner here. You go to page 2 like that. So if you want to draw an entity relationship diagram, you go to entities here. You click on an entity, you double click the name. Let's assume in this instance you want to create the students table, and then you rename all these: student ID. You give it a name. Let's assume this is a name. You double click a name, address. You double click surname, something like that. If you want to add a row, you can always come to row here, drag to the entity. You can have a row there. Let's assume you want to say student number. You can also create that. So that is how you add entities. So if you want to specify relationship, let's assume you have another entity. Let's assume this is your student locker. local. So you want to say you have a one-to-one relationship here. So you come to the relationship section here. So there is one-to-one on the second row. On the, yeah. So we have one-to-one there. You can click on that. You take the one side, you connect it to the connecting entity. Then you take the other one side. You make sure that it touches the other entity as well. If you are okay with it, then you can also create a text. To get a text, there is a text. Drag it. One student can have, and then you put the cardinality as well. You can say 1-to-1 here in brackets. You can also copy and paste this, Control C and then Control V. So you can see that you can also have that one-to-one here on the side. So this is how you create your ERD, and then you put all the relationship. There is also one-to-many as well. I believe that is on the, so this is many-to-many. This is one-to-many on the last row here. So if you are having one-to-many relationship, you can also use one-to-many. So basically that is it for the first part of the assignments. So you can also get this. So I just want to call your attention that we have already gotten started with the development using Java to create the application. So basically we have already created the starting application here using Java. So in the next tutorial, we are going to look at how we are going to get started with the actual development and how to get this system working. So basically, yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys on the next tutorial. So bye for now.